Hello, everybody. We got a Gibby! Welcome, Gibby!
Hi.
Did you get to see your eulogy last week?
Yeah, I get to see how I got turned into not what I was hoping for, which was a narcoleptic halfling, but just someone who's just suffering from horrible withdrawals and is just foaming at the mouth like a rabid animal. That was fun.
A moment of silence for Gibby. I see. Very respectful.
Yeah.
For Vun. My bad.
No.
It's
For
okay.
Vun, right?
No, forgive me.
We
We
get
met Gibby.
confused. They get confused all of the time. It's fun.
Oof.
Really, are they even
Oh my
different?
God.
Are they different at all?
Thank you so much for your 14th months. Oh my god.
I bet he's
Gibby,
gonna be walking soon.
we're alive. John, how's it going?
Pretty good. Not bad. Can't complain. I'm alive.
What about you, Orion?
Yeah, I'm still applying for jobs. Other than that, just trying to keep my days busy.
Yeah. Draco?
Tired, stressed, the usual.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, I'm great. Thanks so much for asking. Me and
Glad to
Millman,
hear.
you may be familiar with Mr. Millman, but we've been playing Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. Isn't that a mouthful? And we've been playing the Tyranids, where our mouths are outside our lips.
Hot.
It is, yeah. I almost killed him with that joke. It was really fucking good. Anyway. I'm glad everyone's here, at least, except for Eric, who I guess in tradition we should speak to. His absence, his memory. People ask me what does Eric leave behind? And I'd like to think it's a smile. One that whenever I regale in memory, I can fondly find. He's been with me the longest out of all of my players. So his absence leaves a rather large hole in my heart.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Oh my.
That's a misspeak. Haha.
Or is it?
There, John?
Yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah,
about
I was joking. Haha.
that. Well, I misspoke and then I committed to it. We don't need to stick with this bit, but if anyone has anything they want Eric to hear in the VOD, speak now or forever hold your peace.
Hey,
Well said!
Oof.
I can't wait for him to be drifted onto just another island that isn't where we are. It isn't Ugaris, and he just has to play Lost for a whole session without us.
He just washes a short Ugar, or not Ugarest, Mokapuni.
that's
Good.
far, brother.
Very far.
That's a far travel.
He's
I have
just
a
getting
feeling that-
pulled.
He just partied with the mer people.
I mean, hey, at that point, he could just say hi to the weird dog hermit and his magic giant turtle, and have
Yeah.
them taken back to Ugarist.
Oh, guy?
Probably.
That guy?
Ooh,
Yeah.
guy.
Who doesn't
guy.
like that guy?
I love that guy.
Oh yeah, guy is the one here, and then that guy is the.
No, that's Guy.
Is he Key?
No, you're
Yeah, it's
thinking of
geese.
geese, like the bird.
Yeah. Fuck birds.
You mean
Okay.
bones?
This is
They're
getting
a
cringe.
construct
Going to that actually.
Are we ready to begin?
No.
Then Mr. Gibby, take it away.
Okay, last time on Whose Colon Is It Anyway? City States of Klovisa, we sorry.
No, it was good. It was a good one.
We have our boys, the disco team, definitely masters of dance, going to meet some people, some Mughals who they think are going to help turn the tide of this political atmosphere within Ugarest. They decide that through their voting amongst themselves, going out at night and seeing just what the town's like, both during the night and the day, will help them find out just really what life is like here at Ugrest. Nav is given the car keys by everyone's least favorite person in the world. And through some weird events, definitely not because he wasn't fast enough, Mirth is left behind, wandering the streets of Ugarest on his own, while Nav goes and just does something. Not a ton is accomplished during the night. He does get to talk to some people and learn a few things, but it's mostly what happens the next day that we should really focus on. Because during the next day, our party decides that we should really go and learn about the history of Hyperion and its connection to Ugarest and its people.
We did not do.
Which sounds like a pretty good idea considering how vested and how interested Hyperion is in this place. But that's not quite what happened now, is it, gentlemen? No, what happened was two of our most interested party members, went to perhaps the most important location for us to be starting out, a place of knowledge, a place of learning, with some of the most intelligent people on the island. Unfortunately for them, they were ignorant of some of the rules, or perhaps had simply forgotten that we are in a place that is far less magical than that of the continent of Klovisa. And so in an attempt to act subtly, they instead did the most obvious thing possible, which was casting a spell, making a ton of noise, and just overall being very conspicuous in a public space. Not quite realizing their mistake, they continue onward until they catch the attention of local authorities, by which case, this was Nav and Yugu, both of whom immediately act in a volatile way, rather than trying to talk things out, which, to Yugu's credit, he attempted to do at first, before hiding himself in a barrel.
It was heavy.
Nav then inflamed the situation further by casting darkness on himself, grabbing Yugu, and using the spell Dimension Door to escape, with the police in hot pursuit after them. The two of them run towards the Great Glade, or some sort of glade, the giant tree on Ugarest, and with the police still hot on their trail, they attempt to scale down the cliffs, hoping to find some sort of refuge or some place that they can hide, spotting a small alcove, a small cave, but with the police right behind them, Nav decides to make a split decision, jumping into the hole. Or so he attempted, instead losing his grip and falling into the water. Yugu manages to make it inside with the use of greater invisibility, and finds out that there is someone inside that cave. In fact, it was the vampire that they had been searching for, or had hoped to meet there. One of the moguls, supposedly, that would help turn the local atmosphere. Meanwhile, Zane and Mirth learned actual information that they had set out to learn about the areas of Hyperion, as well as some of the basic information of Ugarest, and ended up meeting at the tree, which had now been, of course, swarmed by police. They had managed to meet up with Yugu, no longer being accompanied by Nav, who, as previously stated, is now floating away in the water, soon to be resolved.
PM.
PM. And now we come back to our party as we try to figure out what we're going to do now.
I believe we were beginning to head back to home base.
Yeah, with the information that Blood Moon was going to accept contact with our contact.
Give me 1 second. I'm so sorry.
It's kind of like side note, but of the information we did learn from the archives, it was the faith. We learned a little bit about the Paunch, and his faith of the challenger.
Yes.
Hurrah on.
Wait, Hiva? I thought it was Hiva.
Hira, either. Pronunciation be damned. I have
Anyway,
name.
that's the recap. That's where we're at now, boys.
Yeah.
Tune in and figure out how this wacky situation gets resolved. This week on Who's Calling Us Anyway?
We also had our contact Gideon of the Moguls send a letter to Alan Bogart
Oh, that's true.
to set up a meeting.
This
Yes.
is the case.
And Ariel Redmoon has agreed to at least talk to
Yes.
Alabaster.
Good old Gordon.
Gordon, not Gideon. I don't know why I said Gideon.
Honestly, it's a better name.
More
But
syllables.
Gordon's a simple man. Just with a lot of political sway. We
Yeah.
are going to
not a
jump
lot of
in
people
our
will.
narrative. I'm speaking now. Fuck you. Okay. I'm so sorry. It is late at night when you all arrive back within, well, I suppose what you're gonna call home base from now on, seeing as that is what you wrote on it.
That is
This-
indeed what we're calling it.
This embassy on a terrace above the, I don't want to call it the Port Authority, but a military port for sure. The stars are out. The sky is cloudy, but not so cloudy enough that you cannot see the gorgeous, huge, ever-present moon, except when it's not. Nav isn't there with you. Yugu. Neither is a vampire. But you have Mirth, you have Runt, you have Zane, as you stand upon the porch after a guard had waved you through a perimeter wall.
One of the city guards, or like
A
local?
military man. He's on your side.
So, Yugu, would you like to walk me through exactly what happened?
Well, so I was casting a spell, and some guards came up, and they
Mhm.
didn't really say anything to me. They just went stop, so I did, and then they tried to arrest me, so I hid. Well, I didn't really hide. More like I told them to get Alabaster, and I put myself in a jail, kind of. I didn't want to talk to them unless Alabaster was there. But then Nav, he just took me and said, we're running. I don't know why. I thought I was just going to talk with the guards, with Alabaster here. You know, like legal stuff. So we ran from the guards for some reason.
Okay. I have a lot of problems with just about everything you said, but I'm just gonna dial it back to the first step, where you said you cast a spell.
That's what I do that.
Yes,
I'm
you
magical.
you do. You do. I do that now, in fact. In fact, I'm pretty sure everyone in our party is capable of casting spells.
Mirth.
Monk, yeah.
Or is magical at the very least of doing something that if something you've forgotten is that most of the people here in Ugarest are not really like most of Klovisa.
Yeah, that's why I thought I would just do magic and they would like be impressed or not know what it is. But I was doing magic and they knew exactly what it was, that it was magic, and they didn't like it. I thought they would be like, oh, wow, magical person.
So Yugu, you know how when we see anything that's been made by Hephaestus, we freak out and are immediately terrified by it because we don't understand it?
Yeah, but we also know he tried to destroy the whole planet.
Right, so like that's how they feel about us.
Oh.
Like whether that's true or not, that's how they feel about us. So we have to consider how they feel about us before we start doing stuff like casting normal, completely harmless spells. because they don't know that you're just trying to, be able to read in other languages or being able to communicate without speaking. They can't tell that. To them, you could just be trying to cast a spell that makes an entire 3-story building explode and kill everyone inside. They don't know the difference. Not until you've casted the spell, and even then, most of the time it's impossible to tell. They don't have people magical like us unless they're like the people we're trying to convince to be on our side. And even then, those people are extremely skeptical of outsiders.
See,
So,
okay,
my
this
point
would have
is,
been great if you weren't in a cocaine coma. You could have
yeah,
maybe thought about that earlier.
okay, well, first off, it wasn't cocaine, alright? I ate something bad and I just couldn't think, alright? Give me a break. Secondly, I kind of hoped that this explanation was more of a given, considering how important this mission is. And the fact that it's like, off the continent. And how stressed it was that demi-humans and people who are not like Ugarestian are treated differently, even if they're trying to change that. Like, Alabaster's trying to change that. The White Lily is trying, or White Maiden is trying to change that, but that's not how things are. That's how they want it to be. So, we need to help that transition along.
Okay, yeah, this is great explanation. I'll go to the guards, tell them
No,
I
no,
am
no.
sorry.
No. So what we're gonna do is explain all of this to our friend Alabaster, and then we're gonna do what he tells us to do. And if that includes talking to the guards and apologizing, we'll do that. Other than that, I think you should probably keep your head low for a while.
Okay, yeah, that was the plan. I don't
Also
want to
name
fight them.
dropping. Also name dropping our person who snuck us into the country illegally might not be the best idea.
I thought about that when I was talking to the guards. I kind of figured I could lie about it, but maybe the rest of you are not as good at lying.
Well,
Also telling them get alabaster sacraments. It's not very subtle.
regardless of what it was, this is the situation we're in now. So let's do what we can to alleviate what has been done and try to move forward as unobtrusively as possible. Now that, everything's been kind of put into perspective. That sound good, guys?
Well, yeah.
Also,
the
we
real question
really
is,
need to find Nav.
yeah,
I was going
definitely.
to say, did you guys see him on your way back to the tree? He kind of went for a swim. I think he fell, actually.
I tried to contact him to see how you two were doing before we arrived there, and I got nothing but static.
Oh, he's dead.
Or he's just physically incapable of answering even through a mental faculty.
Is
Anyway,
not
that
dead?
sounds. I mean, I don't know. I only recently come into magic. I couldn't really explain it, but that is definitely a bridge that we will have to cross eventually. Right now, I think we need to focus up on what's right in front of us. He says as they stop in front of
The door.
the home
embassy.
base, the embassy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he opens the door.
Yeah, Gordon Alabaster is waiting right there for you. As if he is just arms crossed, knowing you are outside, totally not listening. And his eyes go to you, Yugu.
Oh, yeah, this is perfect. You want to sit down? We have a lot to talk about, yeah?
Not really.
Oh, okay, we'll
I want to know why 2 detectives showed up at my estate, asking if I knew a red lizard man from the continent.
So we went to the... what is it called?
I know what happened. I
Oh, okay.
asked them. Are you an idiot? I snuck you
Yeah.
into this country illegally, and you are name-dropping me?
What am I going to do? They
Did
wanted
the
to arrest
tyrant
me.
send me children when I asked for spies? Aren't you supposed to be the most persuasive of this entire group?
That's why I was trying to persuade them
You
to not
couldn't
arrest
just
me.
lawyer up? Was that... You had
You
to
are my
name
lawyer.
me. Are you an idiot?
I guess now I'll say yes, but do you not have lawyers? I don't. I think you are my lawyer in this.
No! What is your...
It's just gonna put a hand on Yu's thigh and be like, this is what I mean when I say that we have to understand that their perspective and this whole mission, that we aren't in Klovisa, we aren't representatives of Tolst, we are secret people who are technically not supposed to be here. No one should know that we exist, period.
Okay.
One of you
but
seems to understand your role here.
before I even got caught doing magic, I'm just gonna like gesture at myself. I don't exactly even look like I fit in here.
Then you should act the part if you cannot look the part. If you're going to be
There are-
casting spells, don't be so blatant about it. You're just going to stand in the middle of a hallway and attract as much attention to you as physically possible?
Well, I
And
wanted
then you're
to see
gonna
what would
run
happen.
from the police?
Okay,
And then
that
you're going
wasn't-
to out the... What kind of spy are you?
To be fair, he's not.
Yeah, I am not.
He's actually, unfortunately, much closer to the role of Xander, to where he creates as much tension as possible, not directs it.
Then
That's
you
more
should have
of-
understood that before deploying him with the rest of you to the archives. Did anything beneficial come out of your little outing?
Yes, we learned more info that could give us some leverage with La Ponche, and we have secured a meeting between you and Ariel Redmoon.
Yes,
I
as it was explained to me on our way back, Ariel Redmoon would like to specifically have a meeting with you, or have a letter declaring, a set time, place for a meeting to discuss what her specific role would be in assisting you publicly or unpublicly in the lawful removal of the Archon in place of the War Master.
A foot in the door, I suppose, is better than nothing at all. I will draft a letter and have... Can one of you... It
Brent
counts
just
heads
raises-
for a moment. Where is the most human one of you? What happened to
Yes.
him?
He fell off a cliff apparently.
He fell off a cliff.
I think he's
Okay.
dead.
Yeah.
You think he's dead?
Yeah, I think he is dead.
Alright,
Dead
I
or
guess
in a
I'm going to
state
be
where he
calling the
cannot
Coast
respond.
Guard now.
Oh, and also about the letter, I can write them. I'm pretty good at writing. My handwriting's good, and no one else can read them. Super secret.
That helps us how?
Because no
In-
one can read our letters except for the vampire. No spy, no magic. I'll pull out a book and write, Dear Runt,
would
read this
she
message
know-
out loud. This guy is stupid. I'm a good spy. Here, read this.
Runt will take the letter and will explain. He has these magical gloves which allow him and one other person of his choosing to read the messages only. It is quite potent, and it is feared even by our own people. And Runt shows the message to him, and then he reads out the text that's on it, and then we do the same thing so that way Alabaster can see that, like, none of us can read it, but he can read it. to kind
Are
of
you
demonstrate.
implying that someone is going to read a letter that I give to you to give to a vampire?
We do not
Do you
know
not
who it
even
is.
have confidence to be a mailman?
No.
I do,
We
but
don't
if
know
you
where
Then
those
I will
assholes-
entrust you, Runt, and not make things more complicated than they need to be.
fair enough.
Thank you. Why don't you all have a seat so that I can explain to you what is going to occur tomorrow, and then contact the Coast Guard real quick and see if a body washed up anywhere.
Okay.
It also help if you lovers explain why or which mogul will do something for you, like how they would act, how they would help you in your case, because being just persuasive and being public with their actions might not be the only choice.
I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to be here to do? Like, because we know his, and he motions towards Alabaster, we know what his motives are and what he wants and what the War Master wants. So isn't it our job to explain and synthesize a reason to tell the moguls to get them on their side?
Well, some of the moguls don't seem to know that they're moguls.
Alright, so then we can use that to
What?
our advantage, can we?
Ariel Redmoon doesn't know why she was a mogul or what she is in her
Why we
influence.
give her this title?
Exactly.
Yes.
It's his
In
own.
her words,
Then she is undervaluing her persuasiveness and influence. Go
yes,
have a
as
seat. I need to make a call. And he heads outside for a moment. You're unsure how he's going to do that? Maybe cell phones exist? Question mark. That, or he's going to do some weird magic, or just leave for a couple hours. Who
Go to a
knows?
payphone.
But you all can go to the common areas, one of the kitchens, or the, I guess, your bedrooms if you really want to clean yourselves up and eat something. Is there anything you guys want to do during this lull?
I guess. Is there just a window to just look outside?
Yeah.
Okay. Because Ren's just gonna wistfully look out the window, being like, God damn it. God. Why?
What have you gotten yourself into now, Runt? You went from dungeon diving to full-on negotiation and empathy? What?
I went from mercilessly murdering children to having to stop people from getting themselves murdered. What have I become, truly? Is this really the path I want to walk down?
if I become a nice person,
No, certainly not that. But I have become, unfortunately, more responsible. Which is just as bad, if not equally worse.
Oof, the path to adulthood in a hobbit's life is very difficult.
I just want to go back to the simpler times where I could murder children without a second thought.
Oof.
murder children, and find yourselves washed away into sewers during heavy rainfall.
Zane, Mirth, Yugu, anything you want to do during this small hour to hour and a half downtime?
Zane will have some dinner, for he is hungry, and just go over all the information he's gathered today.
You start writing or coding cipher in your inner thoughts. Mirth, Yugu.
Mirth does not need sustenance like some other fools. He enjoys it sometimes and he pleasures in it, but he doesn't need it. But he is going to check on his fermented drink that he has in like a little barrel,
Mm-hmm.
and burp it a little bit because it's probably needs to be burped.
You're gonna burp it?
Yeah, it's for fermenting drinks. You open it a little bit, allow the carbon dioxide to escape,
Oh,
so it
okay.
doesn't explode.
I see. I thought you were like gonna pat it on its back and
Throw
have it
up.
puke on your shoulder.
Yeah.
No, just fermenting drinks. So, yeah, it's
Okay.
a little pet project.
Yugu.
Yeah, I'm gonna go up to my room and cast silence in there to be alone with my thoughts, to think for a minute, like, okay,
Hello,
wait.
darkness, my old
Yes,
friend.
actually, like, okay, so Nav died. I guess that's my fault. I guess we are super secret spies. Maybe I'm not anymore. Like, trying to process what actually went through this day, what Runt told him is like, oh, okay. Well, like, illegal super secret agents or something, like out of a kid's storybook.
Mhm.
Out of Castle Power.
Straight
read
out of
that.
Castle Power's 8th volume, brother. Yeah. It's easy enough to get space. I think silence is a ritual, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how I know
Okay.
it.
Cool. Well, you get a little alone time with your thoughts, Yugu. Eventually, Gordon will arrive. He will ask you all to come down, having drafted a letter that he immediately, covertly passes to Runt, hoping he doesn't need to explain the destination.
He doesn't.
Okay. Clearly, you have the most trust of Gordon at the moment, Runt. If for no other reason, then you had the same alignment in terms of position, I guess?
And a little bit of, common sense on goals.
Yeah. It's now quite late in the night, I should say. Gordon will sit you all around a table in the common area, almost as if you just joined him for the first time again. And he will be much calmer now. Yeah, the anger is gone. He's a professional. Tomorrow, at noon, you will meet with the War Master. She's excited to meet you. We have prepared you attire, we will call it, of that the tyrant has approved of. This will be a official but not public meeting. You will be expected to speak for your country. That's kind of an archaic term in this world. You guys are kind of would look at each other like I'm like, what the fuck's a country?
Yeah.
Like, you have your state, like your city.
Yeah.
Question: am I going still?
You will be. However, and he slowly goes around the seat that he's sitting out, and he busts out a can of black paint. We will need you to disguise yourself.
Being a giant black lizard and being a giant red lizard still makes me giant lizard.
Yes, but you don't understand. Our police are ignorant of the continent. If you are without the soldier human who casts darkness, and we change your clothing a little bit, I promise you they won't be able to tell the difference.
Okay. I also have idea. Do you have any, like, pointy sticks? Swords or something like that here?
You need a weapon?
Well, I think I'm gonna grab my loot. Obviously, I am magic, and I carry this. I play it pretty well. I think instead, if I have a shield and a pointy swingy thing, and
Yeah.
look a little.
We can make you. We can get a disguise for you for sure.
Okay. Yeah.
The more exotic you look, strangely, will be more beneficial for you. But he offers Runt the paint can.
He'll just take it as being like, he'll take it, being like, Yugu, Do you have a preferred color other than black? That you would like, if your scales could be any color, and then he just kind of whispers, "You guys do have other colors, right?"
Mhm.
Okay. What color would you like your new scales to be, Yugu?
It can't be on the red shades, so no pinks,
no.
maroons, vermilions.
Try to focus on
Honestly-
primary colors like blue, yellow,
Do you have
green.
white? I was thinking because this happens sometimes. They call albono. I don't know.
Albino.
Albinism?
Yeah. They come out. They have white and they have the shiny red eyes. I won't have the shiny red eyes, but I think that would be cool.
Why not a color that blends in well with the darkness or the night? That way, if you have to sneak, you won't immediately illuminate the rest of your team.
Okay, what about
Blue would do that. Black would actually stand out more in the darkness.
Well, Mr. Colors over here, we can find a navy blue, if that is what you prefer.
That also might help in the water. I don't know how well the paint will hold up in it, but if you ever find yourself in the water again, or near water,
Oh, thinking about that, I stole from the wizards the water breathing ritual. Do you want that in the mornings? Probably should have done that yesterday, but I didn't think about it.
To be fair, we had no idea one of us was going to be jumping off a cliff.
Well, now
don't
we
think-
know that's an option, so does everyone want to breathe water tomorrow?
Not an
I
option.
don't need it.
okay, we can talk about this when our definitely not friend, and he like finger quotes here, is done speaking with us. That's something we can not waste his time with while he's here.
Okay, yeah. But I do like the dark blue is good.
I see. Speaking of your companion jumping into an ocean, he has been located.
Is he alive?
He is alive, yes. He should be able to join you for the meeting, but he's on the other side of the city right now. In a hospital.
Mm.
It's not a big hospital. It's a local.
Well, unfortunately,
Emergency room?
our friend has frequented hospitals in our time, so I'm sure he's quite used to getting comfortable in hospital beds.
I see. Well, worry not.
I appreciate it.
So these uniforms that we're supposed to be wearing tomorrow, are they fitted to us? As I just raise my hands.
Yes, they were quite literally shipped from Tolst.
Oh, okay.
Delivered, I guess. I'm not sure how your weird teleporting man works. That little guy in the corner of my eye.
Oh, yes,
he
him.
can talk to you.
Shadow.
Yes, he is how I've been able to contact your leader. The
Endless.
relay?
Zane looks horribly confused because he has never heard of nor met Shadow.
It's
Who's
'cause
Shadow?
His name is Shadow.
Yeah, who's Shadow?
Smile.
The hedgehog?
Yeah.
the little
Yeah,
hedgehog
he asks.
in your peripheral.
That's the anthropomorphic furry with 2 guns right now. Okay.
The one who's after
I
the
wrote, I wrote a comic about that guy once.
Oh no.
I made an OC about him once.
Oh.
Anyway, so you'll have your luncheon with the War Master. You must speak carefully with her. I don't know if you remember what I said initially about her, but her temper flares sometimes.
I do, and I understand. I think I do speak for all of us when I say that I will probably be speaking on our group and our city-state's behalf.
I see.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything. Honestly, I think I'll make him mad.
Okay. Well then. After that, I don't know exactly if she will have plans for you or requests for you. But what is your play after this meeting?
There are still a handful of the moguls that I believe we have certain interests in based on our own alignments back on the continent. A couple come into mind, especially with the recent knowledge we've learned about the old religions. Let me find his name in my notes real quick. I forget off the top of my head.
De La
Sir
Ponche.
de la
De la
Ponche.
Ponche. Yeah. The speaker of waves and storms
Yes.
is high up on the list.
What's his face? Not the follower of the old ways, or whatever he wants to call
Yes.
himself.
The priest, the whatever.
Yes.
Whatever.
Calendar.
Yeah.
You wish to speak with him?
Yes, him as well as I believe the woman who is against Maelstrom but yet also pursuing peace. Or perhaps
I'm sorry, what?
those are oh no, I'm thinking of
Delon
two separate
Croft, the
individuals.
leader.
The woman who is vehemently against Maelstrom and the conflict.
Miss Stormsbane.
Yes, thank you.
Ah.
Yes, the airship manufacturer.
She will be hard to get in touch with.
I may not necessarily need to get in touch with her. As you yourself have said, it may be more wise to not directly seek them out, but rather to go through subordinates subtly and to ensure that our presence remains as minimal as possible, he says, kind of giving a side glance at Yugu.
Then I will
Alright.
entrust your wisdom, not to fuck it up, as it were. A note about Gezer de la Ponche. He prophetalizes, usually either in the cemetery. He sometimes does it outside of the church. Or he goes up to, and John will make sure we're on the right map. We are over here. This is a communal park where two airship terminals are sort of linked to. They're smaller in scale, meant for civilian use more so than economic. He's sometimes by that fountain, so if you can't find him in the church or the cemetery, he will likely be there. Prophetalizing. As to Stormsbane, this lovely woman, I think she is trying to retire, so she is likely in her home within the estates, or she is within her nearby manufacturer. Factory, excuse me. Oh, they're in the same district. Okay.
Oh.
So, the estates, John will actually draw this with a white or bluish line. So, I'm drawing a little line here. All the houses attached to this row are attached to... No, wait, I messed up. I'm one street off. There we go. Whoa, no. These ones with the trees are known as the estates. We'll do a yellow line. So the houses to the left and right of that line are the estates.
States.
And
It's hard to
she...
see them down. I see them now.
Her factory is up here that I just pinged.
That's not what I wanted.
Okay.
Oh.
There we go.
I won't pry too much into your happenings. Please don't bring up our names if you get caught by
Whose
our enemies.
names?
you?
Runt just kind of says, winking.
I see.
We should hopefully have a better understanding now, all of us, of how things should be working.
Okay. Then I will leave you. If you need to contact me. Well. I'll contact you if something happens.
Very well.
Good luck, he says, and he leaves a paint can. He says a new one will be delivered sometime late at night or early in the morning. That will be more navy blue, he guesses.
Oh, how water resistant is the paint?
Assume that it's not at all. That as soon as you touch water, that's coming right off.
Okay.
Just to be as strict as possible, just so that way if it is somehow a little water resistant, cool, but if it's not, that's what we're expecting. So plan for the worst, hope for the best.
I am a vampire now.
Okay. We can jump whenever you guys want to do something. So,
This is gonna be really dumb, and probably I'll not use it. But during the night, I want to get a book and write hundreds of letters to all of the moguls. Be like each one, like, dear Alan, dear Miss Stormsbane, every single one. Just be like, we want your help. We think we can save or progress the country. Meet us at, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't have a meeting. If you find this paper, you can contact us. And that's it. A very mysterious, and dozens of them in a book.
Contact us at 1 Mr. Alabaster's estate.
No. I'm not that silly. I'll just
Well-
say you can contact us or we can contact you. No reference, no signature. But I just want to invite a lot of them.
they're gonna spam mail them.
I'm not planning to send them yet.
Sincerely, a concerned citizen.
A person of the country.
Nice.
Sincerely, illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Okay. During sometime between now and your meeting with the War Master, maybe even after it potentially, you can get painted, Yugu, into a bright color. Likely your team will be the ones painting you. How in depth do you want this to be? Like, are you going, hi, kill the master? Well, thank you, Closing Dragon. Are you wanting to, like, go full body paint me like one of your French girls to your
No.
team? Or is
I'm
it
gonna
just
do,
gonna be,
like-
like, your face?
No, I'll do like calf down and chest up, right? Like T-pose.
Okay.
I don't want someone, I don't know, like cuts a sleeve off and it's like, hey, wait a minute, that's red. I want them to have to cut me in half.
Don't you know that lizards in Klovisa have multiple colored scales?
Is this D&D Beyond? It is not, no. You can do just so. But I want to know narratively, who's the one that paints Yugu? Because he can't do that all by himself.
Yeah, I literally had this image in my mind where I'm gonna take Yugu and put him up against a wall. Like, there's gonna be like 2 tarps, right? There's gonna be one coming down vertically and then one he stands on so that it doesn't get the spray paint like anywhere. It's just these tarps that can be washed in. And it's just
That's
gonna,
spray paint.
yeah, and I'm just gonna hold him up against the wall and just like have like a step ladder so I can reach parts of his body and then just like basically hose him down with the spray paint until we're satisfied with how colored he is.
Well, it is scales, so honestly, you could go ham with the
Yeah.
paint.
In, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm ready to like hook this up to a hose and literally hose you down with spray
Like a
paint.
car.
Yeah.
You want to airbrush him?
Yeah.
You can do that, I guess. Is Mirth or Zane wanting to
Zane
join in
will
the
help.
fun?
Zane
I'm
will
gonna
help.
watch.
I like to watch.
Yeah.
What about you, Zane?
Zane will help.
How are you helping?
I don't know. He'll just grab a brush and go over the
You're
upper
gonna
arm.
detail.
Yeah, I'm gonna
We
detail.
gotta get the shading right, or it's.
Yeah,
Okay.
game between scales.
Yeah, bend your arm a little bit. Okay, now flex that.
Hell yeah.
What? Bend your arm a bit so I can get into the elbow.
There's
True.
a gap in there somewhere.
Wow. Together, after a lovely morning of painting, you can eat, do this little team building exercise, and then head to meet the War Master. What are some thoughts or feelings going into this meeting?
I fucked up.
Please don't be like Presnoth. Please don't be like Presnoth. Please don't be like Presnoth. I'm just praying to God that he's been. Our boy Gordon has been just over exaggerating how bad she's going to be. I hope that she's similar to Irithil more than she is to Fresnoth. Because I can deal with Irithil. Irithil's fine. But if she's any worse than that, we are going to have problems very quickly.
Okay.
Zane's just thinking, please don't snap my kneecaps.
Mirth has no worries. Nothing that this person can do can hurt him. So
Sure.
bring it on.
Okay. Well, when we come back from our first break, we will go and see what she wants from you all.
God damn, an hour's
boy.
passed already.
In a whole hour. We'll be right back, everybody. Hello, everybody. We are back after that short break. Nice to see you. Nice to see you all once again. And we are going to jump a little bit forward in time as John finds the right music. You are not led, but are carried in blacked out vehicles. These tinted windows hiding any potential snipers or spy from a true target. You... Where's my good piano music? There we go. I hope that's building up. You travel quite auspiciously together until you make a quick right, another right, and then are headed into a military area. This is basically, this entire southern portion of the city is more or less a giant military base. All of this housing is mostly for military people in Ugarast, as well as just arms depots, armories, vehicle bays, garages. But where you are going to is the Admiralty, where the White Maiden has chosen to act as her base of operations, because the actual Admiral, Old Salt, never used that, because he's always below or above the sea. You pass a rather big muster ground, this big green field here, where you see hundreds of soldiers practicing drills, marching in unison, and preparing for what appears to be some sort of close combat drill. Maybe they're just doing training, maybe it's a weird practice, but they are out, about, and present. Parking quickly into a closed garage, so again, no one will see you step out of the vehicle. You will meet with a small delegation of officers and I don't want to call them higher ups, but they are definitely not common born people. They look like they have been in this job for a while and are professional soldiers. They wear uniforms of white, and each one of them has a small little half cape that goes on their left shoulder and runs all the way down to their thigh, hiding their left hand, which you can see sticking out from their hip is a saber, probably decorative. This seems to be a full-blown, like, military greeting between two nation states, and it feels a little odd, you being here, you cave dwellers, spelunkers, and trans-dimensional lore keepers are now in like a political procession. You all are wearing uniforms of black and purple, currently of... Well, this is no surprise to you. This is more or less just a more decorative version of your regular military fatigues that you wear in the Tyrant's Court to identify yourselves as. And you're expected to get rid of these almost as soon as this meeting concludes, so that you can go back to being undercover. Who's leading your group here?
Me.
Mirth raised his hand
That
too.
says otherwise.
Oh, just
Well, Mirth, you have longer legs. You can easily step over Runt.
Literally and figuratively. And I will.
Okay. Run will say behind you as we're walking. You
Mirth.
can lead the way.
Are you trying to, like, project your authority, your charisma? What's the goal here as you step quite literally over Runt, who doesn't even come up to your, like, knee?
Well, the most important person should be at front, either in front or the back. And since being them as a representative, go at front seems to be the most iconic place for Mirth to be. Trying to just project the arrogance and like regality.
Hell yeah. Can you just click on charisma for me? Can you just click that charisma button?
Oh boy. See how memorable he is.
Okay.
Ooh, not bad.
This is
Yeah.
pretty, you know. You do have bonuses to this, actually. But John's not going to tell you exactly what they are. But you're a tall, big, chonky military man from across the waves, from the continent of super magical men. You don't even have a weapon. Some people have their weapons out, like their magical, arcane focuses, or in Yugu's case, his lute, or lyre, or guitar, or... I'm forgetting
Stringed
your...
instrument. Any will do.
Yeah. Runt even has his dagger, I believe, on his hip, just to show that it's like, oh, I can stab a motherfucker. Or cast a spell. Zane definitely has a wand or amulet or something to cast a spell with. But you, Mirth, are armed with nothing but your fucking fists. You're a goddamn Gucci guy, confident in a fist fight. And these men, wearing weapons to a meeting that are purely decorative? Oh, they're fools, Mirth. You can't help but look down at them.
I can stab both them and their swords like a twig.
True. You are led, quote unquote, but really they are following in front of you, Mirth, to a nice meeting room. It is quite naval-like. You're unsure what the deal is with all the anchors and like wings everywhere. Emblematic of this country's navy. Eventually, you come to this rather large table where around 30 people could potentially sit at. And as you are beckoned to take the side that has quite literally a Tolst banner situated behind it, the officers that greeted you will take opposite seats. And you all will kind of look to the missing head honcho. The empty high chair where an admiral would normally have a military meeting being absent. You have a moment here to confer with yourselves or engage in dialogue with these clowns, but you're not here to meet with them.
Runt kind of turns to the group and says, alright, we all know what the deal is, and just kind of waits for them to respond.
Zane just nods his head.
Yeah, I think I've done enough yesterday, so I'm gonna pull out a book. I'll keep notes, yeah? But...
Sounds good. And then he'll
Official
just...
notekeeper is gone.
Runt will just kind of wait until he sees someone who he's kind of expecting enter the room, and he's just gonna prepare to step forward as soon as, I guess, the woman comes into the room.
Okay. After a moment, you see your, not opposites, but the people opposite of this table, conferring with themselves as well. They are muttering things, talking, likely just as you were. One of them even mirrors Yugu in a way and produces a notepad that he will write upon.
They're
Then-
like, oh shit, we have to take notes.
Yeah, right. The small office door will open to a younger lieutenant or younger officer who will herald the War Master. This adjutant will then hold the door open and will close it behind the person that enters the room. And I have written a slight description for her. So, this person is within her late 20s to early 30s, She has platinum/silver hair that flows quite, not ornately, but long from scalp to back, which is then pierced, I guess, by feathers that come out of her neck and over onto her shoulders. She is wearing plate mail armor with the back that has been cut out for her rather large swan-like wings that have to squeeze and be brought in close to her back through the door. Her armor has many hawk motifs, but also on the breastplate a large lion head roaring out. There is a long cape that goes underneath her shoulder plate, all the way down to her heel of just pure white with the crest of Ugarest, an anchor with swan's wings on her back. Her eyes are very odd, very strange. You know anthropomorphic demi-humans. Hell, you have one amongst you named Yugo. Normally, their eyes match with the animal that they more demonstrably have. This white maiden, this war master, has both the eyes of a cat and an eagle mixed together. It is a very strange, almost dual pupil within one eyeball. It's just odd looking. Almost upsetting. Near monstrous, even. Her hands are currently gloved and gauntleted and end with rather large black talons. On her hip there is a long sword as she strides through the room, heading around her side's people to join you in the middle at the head of the table. Many people stand as she enters. Does anyone remain seated?
No.
When I stand, I'll even give her a bow, because apparently you bow to royalty or something like that.
Do we have a toast salute, right?
Yes.
Okay, then Runt will do a very I wouldn't say honorable, but like just like a very clear like toast style salute as she enters.
Zane
I'll
will do
stand.
similar.
With my hands crossed.
This is what you do? Oh, okay. I was about to be like, that's a weird sign.
It's
Is
a bit
that...
more exaggerated because bugbear.
Your elbows jut out 10 feet.
You hit someone in the head.
Ow.
They're both over Zane and over Runt.
True. You all are very briefly distracted as this young officer closes the door, and by closes the door, I mean is judo thrown out of the room as Xander steps in and closes the door, stealing his spot, as if no one will notice. You all just, like, glance at him. The Ugarestians ignore it entirely. He's just like, yes. And then, like, as if nothing happened, just takes the regular dude, the adjutant's place. Fucking Xander. As the War Master looks at each and every one of you, she takes her seat, and as she sits, so too does her lackeys. Are you guys ready for an awkward conversation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
always.
Yeah.
Always.
That's my jam.
Then
Isn't
let
that just what
us-
D&D normally is? Awkward conversation?
And rolling dice.
Not for me. I don't know what you're talking about. Let me find some music. I don't know if this is the one I wanted. I actually don't even hear it. You guys hear music?
Not at the
No.
moment.
No.
It just ended. Now I hear something. It's very... There we go.
Yeah, we'll put on some faint harpsichord. The War Master looks at you. Her attention is unblinking, unwavering, as she stares at you. Who is your speaker?
Brent raises a hand.
Hello.
That would be me, War Master. It is good to meet you.
It is good to meet you as well. You know who I am. I'm at the disadvantage. Who are you?
Of course. It is my pleasure. I am Runt, or so that I am named. I am from the city-state known as Tolst, from continent Klovisa.
I greet you. Kalukale, she says. The officers immediately respond with Kalukale.
He just kind of mumbles, like, Kalukale.
Hang on one sec. I don't even hear the music anymore. Do you guys hear this fucking harpsichord?
I hear it.
It's
Very
faint.
soft, but...
Yeah,
I
very,
do
very
not
faint.
because I turned the roll 20 down.
Okay.
Not piano, but yeah.
I mean, I
It
have my
is
music
faint.
max for you.
She, like, orders the musician to
Play louder!
play louder. Come on. I am told many things every single day. However, your tyrant, from what I know, is rather vague. I want to know what he wishes from us.
The tyrant would like, from Ugarest, for you to be in charge, War Master, for a specific purpose. We believe that it is in the continent's best interest to unite all city-states, including that of Ugarest, for what is soon to consume our continent in a great conflict. And your part in this conflict, being Tolst's allies, will ultimately end with you, or in part having you working against the Isles of Flavor, as they are part of our enemies in the said upcoming conflict.
I see. There is a long pause as she breaks eye contact from you all and stares directly towards the door. Clearly in thought. Should our plan succeed, the War Master begins, military aid will be on the table in further negotiations, for sure. However, there must be results before promises are made. You may speak with us in this room, in privacy, of your intentions. Our Archon must be removed from power. He is archaic. He follows traditions which do not match with the current age. And more importantly than not, he will soon be having to deal with the fact that half of his next generation is projected to be of demi-human origin, such as myself. This will lead to a repression which I cannot look forward to. Already he has attempted a roundabout way of removing me from my position. How are you going to get results to remove this person from power?
Runt nods as she speaks. I agree. The Archon should not be allowed to remain in power. And you, as I've stated, is Tolst's preferable ruler for Ugarest. Our plan is to lawfully seat you upon the position of power, to have the people of Ugarest see you as the rightful ruler and the rightful control of the law. It is our plan to do this by interacting with, as we've come to know them, the Moguls, those who control the Senate and ultimately decide the outcome if a vote is made on the next Archon of Ugarest. It is our intention to seek these Moguls out and to sway their opinion in either your favor or in a favor against the Archon in such a way that you will be seen as the rightful ruler, or as Ugarest's best ruler. As for results, I can confidently say that we have already made progress in getting some of these influential figures on your side. As we speak, we have plans to meet with some of these individuals and have them establish a beneficial connection, let's say. Something for them and something for us, to help establish a more beneficial and convenient relationship for each side, while firmly setting them in your court.
I see. This pleases me, Mr. You said your name was Runt?
Yes.
We will have to give you a new title should you succeed. I can't be having the historians calling the architect for my rise a pejorative.
Then perhaps I can give you an old title from my family. We used to be known as the Talisbanes.
The Talisbanes? Like talisman, but instead of man, it is Bane.
Correct. We were not, much like Ugarestians, well versed in magic, and that unfortunately became our downfall.
The guy
As
who's
I-
taking notes is just writing like a madman, like, fucking shit. Talisbane!
There's just paper
But-
flying everywhere.
That is enough about me. We are here to discuss our matters together.
Yes. I see that Gordon has given you the plan, let's say. However, no plan goes correctly once it has made contact with an enemy. I believe that is the verbiage.
Yes, no plan survives first contact with the enemy, War Master. I do believe that is correct.
How bloody are you willing to get?
That entirely depends on how bloody you would like this to be.
I don't particularly care. I have been told by my surrogate father, Gordon, that opinions sway the populace more so than results. A word has just as much power as a sword, or the pen is mightier than... I don't actually know. I don't care that much. However, my enemies have tried to assassinate me at least twice through roundabout methods. They are clearly willing to turn this lawful replacement into a criminal act. I must look like the bigger person in these times. However, I don't truly care how the job is done.
Runt nods, and he smiles with a cold glare in his eyes as he says, I have no qualms with silencing voices that need to be done. Although, for your benefit, and such as the benefit of Tolsts, I would rather win over through hearts and minds. But if a few throats are slit along the way, then it must be so.
I see. Well, the moguls must remain unmurdered. Their families, however, if they have them, can be seen as useful tools. I will leave the discretion on how you go about your job solely to you, if not to just keep myself a layer of deniability.
He nods.
There is one other group that we should discuss about, who has made an offer that the tyrant should know of. The Emperor of Hyperia, Valor Meza, has sent me a delegation party. How do I say this bluntly, but also not rudely? He wants me to kidnap your princesses that you have stolen, apparently, and give them to him. I assume this means his daughters, but I don't care. However, although I don't care who I must kidnap to get what he has offered me this whole damn country. Currently, that seems infeasible, so I have put a hold on that offer. But as more details come up, you must know that an offer has been made in competition to the services you are now providing me.
He nods. I fully understand.
How attached to these princesses are your tyrant?
I'll pose it in this way, War Master. The princesses are... the tyrant is not so much attached to the princesses, as so much, to my knowledge, that the princesses have fled from their father.
Okay. That does not answer my question.
So to answer your question, the tyrant seeks to give them refuge. He sees them as refugees from Hyperion, and so he wishes to protect them from the person they ran away from. It is unlikely that he is willing to give them up, or if he were to do so, it would be at a very high cost.
Well, the cost could be our alliance.
He nods. I understand. I'm simply allowing you the knowledge of what I view to be the truth. This is how
acceptable. If more details come up and an offer is made, I will wish for you to convey this to your leader. One life is not worth the friendship of a continent, regardless of that person's fate.
I could not agree more, War Master.
Good.
Now, this is an out of character clarification because a stutter happened on my end. Did you say his whole damn country or this whole damn country?
This
one.
This one.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. She's not making threats against Toast. She's not in a position to do that yet.
Yet.
There is one other matter. I have found this out recently from Gordon. There's apparently a priest, a holy man, a cleric of some sort of sun god that has stepped upon our shore. You have heard of this, I take it?
Yes, they are the Blazing Star. They are an overzealous group of individuals, and they are xenophobic in the most extreme ways possible. They despise demi-humans and see them as impure.
That's silly.
It is, War Master. We have dealt with them in the past. They appear to be incompetent and unruly, but they are, without a doubt, unmistakably still a threat, regardless.
Okay. I would like these dealt with in as a manner that is as brutal as you wish it to be.
Understood.
Well then. Is there anything else you need from me?
Runt looks to both sides of the table to see if anyone has any questions that they want to whisper to him for him to ask.
One of the officers does let out a cough. War Master, you said that potential financial compensation for these gentlemen may be needed. The War Master nods, and the wealth you can extort from others is considered yours here. I will not enforce any deals you have betrayed. If you can rob someone blind, after the fact, of course, when I am in political power,
Of course.
none of you will be found to have been breaking laws. In terms of magical wealth, such as the oh-so-notorious +1 longswords you find along the way, that my officers have wanted for so long, she mocks the people to her right. I would prefer you leave the non-essential magic here. However, if a family, a mogul, a person of interest has such things that are unique or not of this land, help yourself.
Understood.
Magic is
This is-
rare here, but it accumulates in individuals more so than throughout the land like Klovisa.
Runt looks to both sides of the table again and says, "This is acceptable."
Good. Obviously, we cannot outright pay you. It would look a little odd for when our auditors, a Mrs. Underground, shows up to check our tax returns and sees that there's like, oh, 1,000,000,000,000 gold has been fostered away to some unknown people. It'd look a little wacky.
Indeed.
Okay. Obviously, we cannot provide you any military assistance, nor can we get the police off your back, which I should remind everyone is civilian operated. They are not run by the military. So please keep that in mind when you are made publicly aware.
Understood.
Okay. Then by all means, crack as many eggs as you must to get your mission complete.
I usually do, War Master. I usually do.
Oh, she smiles at that, Runt.
He smiles back, like really wolfishly.
Before I'll go. Hey, Runt. Before we leave, ask. This area we are in, it looks military. Is there military police as well, or all of the police civilian?
He will pipe up and say, "Oh, a question for you. Do you have anything in the forms of a military police that is separate from the civilian police?
Yes.
We've noticed them around this central area and was wondering."
They will not bother you. Or, if they do bother you, they will be told to stop. It is not as if the entire military knows you're here, after all. For those of you wondering, these are my officers. Each one is a representative and more or less hound within each of our military's branches. everything will be filtered through them. Should you be spotted, such as in the case of the one currently not here, your navigator? She looks at one of the guys who just nods affirmingly, like, yes, that is his name.
Yes. He is Navigator. We call him Nav for short.
I see. Well, one of our Coast Guard managed to pick him up. He is quite entertaining, I'm told.
It can be at times. He's good to have around.
I see. There's another matter which I should bring to your attention. Although I can't give you direct assistance through any uniformed individual, I have a retired... I don't want to call him a vagabond, but he's more or less a vagabond. Friend of my father who wishes to join your lovely bunch. He is quite persuasive in his own way, and not afraid to, I think the quote is, smite a motherfucker?
That does sound intriguing. We'll have to meet with him before I can make any judgments, though. Although, coming from you and your father as a recommendation, that I do consider that quite highly to be regarded.
Well then, I will have him get in touch. It was he who managed to drag out your boy from beneath the waves.
Very good.
If there's anything else, you may get in touch with my adjutant. She points to Xander, not seeming to notice that he is body swapped with her actual adjutant. He will be able to get me a message.
Ron just nods, not even looking at Xander. And he's just like, very good.
I'm gonna do the little, grab line. Tell her I can write secret messages too. I don't know if they care, but I can do that.
Runt rolls his eyes and sighs and says, one more thing. We have in our own... It is an auxiliary function for our group specifically. We have ways of magically encoding messages that cannot be deciphered by some of even the strongest casters in our continent.
Seems highly unnecessary. What if
It
someone
can be.
else needs to break the code? What if you send a message to someone who gets assassinated with vital, intelligence?
He shrugs. Like I said, it is an auxiliary function only, to be used more for convenience, or as a last resort, but it is extended to you regardless.
We will think about purchasing such things, if they are for sale.
He'll look back at Yugu. We shall consider it.
I'm not joking, that could actually happen. There is a select fund in our military of purchasing magical items. We're not afraid to pay people handsomely if these magical items can be demonstrated.
Like I said, we shall consider it, but for another time, perhaps.
Understood. She stands
That
up.
will be all.
Good.
He will stand up.
She will offer you a taloned handshake.
He will come around the table and he will give her a nice handshake, as strong as he's capable of doing.
It is awkward as you realize that she is not wearing real gauntlets. It is as though the palm and underneath her hand is that of, a bird's skin. It is leathery, almost coarse, rough. It gets everywhere.
That's not too nice. That isn't too unfamiliar to Run, having dealt with Jerome for so long.
Yeah, it's actually quite similar to Jerome, albeit more of a natural color than a weird alien
one.
Yeah, the gross pigmentation that he possesses.
Yeah,
we have Jerome in behavior in Xander, and Jerome in feel or appearance in the War Master.
Strange.
She's got some bird traits, for sure. Try not to crush her hand. She will shake your hand, your little child hobbit hand, with her talon.
He just kind of gives her a smirk and then just shakes her hand, and then releasing it. It has been a pleasure.
Likewise. Let us hope you have results the next time we meet. And with that, she quickly leaves, almost autistically so. This entire conversation was rather unblinking. Yugu, or Mirth, or Zane could have counted the amount of time she blinked her eyes on one hand throughout
One
the
finger.
40-minute-ish meeting you had with her. One finger, is that what you said?
I can
Yeah, I
count the
said
number
we
of
could
times
count
he
it on
blinked
one
on
finger.
one finger.
Nice. Gross. You can be escorted out quite quickly. These officers, I mean, no one really cares about them, right? Is anyone eyeballing them or doing something?
I'm keeping a mental note of them, of like how they look and kind of like their general, just how they look in comparison to the War Master, and just kind of keeping a track of, I guess, in the same way that Runt would keep track of who's in like the Tyrant's court to see like who's who. Like if he sees a new face, it's like, oh, is this a hunter? Like who is this person? How important are they?
Give me
That's just kind of what he's doing.
give me an insight roll.
Sure. I'll
I'm
do
doing a
that.
lot of
Yeah,
role playing. Let's do some role playing. What's up, Murph?
And I also look and see if any of them are like super strong or like adept at fighting.
Murph, it's an
Seems-
automatic success for you. None of them look strong like you.
Oh, of course.
Um,
12.
Liquid Snake.
He gets him every time.
It really does. I love Volker. They seem quite normal for their job. You don't see, like, any knives in the dark military men in these people. They're not like spies or anything. They're like bureaucrats, like in the
Yeah.
system.
All seems well. With these guys, at least.
Can I look them over to see if I can? I want to be able to replicate their clothes with my performance of creation. I know they probably have a lot of little knickknacks like pins and
Yeah.
things all over the place.
You would have
showing
had
on
40 minutes to
Yeah.
like study them, and you also are taking notes.
Mhm.
Why don't you give me a investigation check at advantage to get the
Ooh.
details
The notes
right?
weren't about the meeting, it was just outfit
They're
sketching.
like, ew, look at that color.
How to Copy Ugarestian Drip. A novel by Yugu.
Fucking drip.
Ew, 7.
You know, they got capes, they wear white, they have an anchor with wings. You're sure you could come up with something.
Yeah. Oh, it's
You
so
know, like-
generic. They just
Yeah.
wear clothes, duh.
Zane would just be looking over any of the people, not even just like the officers, but like anyone in the base, just to see how many demi-humans there are, if any.
3 of the 5 officers have clear demi-human traits that you can immediately see.
Okay, so at least 3 people who would have vested interest in not liking the Archon.
For sure.
Well, assumedly, all 5 of them have vested interest in not liking the Archon.
Assumedly.
You
for
never
sure.
know. You never know.
True.
Maybe that's something to ask about. Like, where do the presenting humans side on the, whole demi...
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a racist country. Quite species is being race. Like,
Yeah,
why are
this is a
humans working with this person at all? Why are they working with a griffin lady?
I thought of her more of as a harpy, but I think Griffin works too.
Well, there were lion features there as well, so Griffin would
Oh yeah, that's
probably
true.
be more accurate.
Who
True.
knows? Well, they will escort you to the car where none other than Gordon Alabaster is waiting for you, having snuck into the private limousine. Or not limousine. Vehicle, we'll say.
The Jeep, the convoy.
Yes.
Uh,
As you all board up and take off, you will begin to just immediately... You can't change out of it entirely, but you can get, like,
Yeah.
the coat off and your fatigues out, which he will collect into a trash bag to be burned. During this time, he will pass off news that Alan is considering the offer of having a meeting.
Considering he hasn't even said yes or no to just meeting?
It's still good news.
It's
How
not a
went your
direct
meeting
dialogue.
with my daughter?
Quite well, I think. Better
None of
than
you
I
said anything to piss her off, right?
no
I
one but me really said anything.
Ah. Well, she is a collector. Be careful, Runt.
Unfortunately, I'm being collected by a few people already at the moment.
That sounds highly sexual. I mean, she will quite literally kill you and take your skeleton.
Oh, I thought you meant like
No,
recruit.
she is like a predator, man. She was so sweet growing up, and then she just like went full. I don't know. It was like a light switch happened, and she's like,
Ah.
"Time to collect dead animals,
Oh
Dad."
no, I was referring to having multiple allegiances to multiple people.
Okay. Well, be careful with that one. I raised her, but I warn people of her now.
No offense, but as soon as our business here in Ugaris is done, I think I will be leaving promptly.
That would be wise.
While we are in the sort of the privacy of the car, Zane will ask, "How much do you know about the War Master's officers?"
I can know much about them. I don't. I used to serve in the Navy. But I was not destined to make it my career.
I see. I was more just curious on how many of them have vested interest in the matters of demi-humans. I saw at least three of
You,
them were.
I would assume.
I saw at least three of them were demi-humans themselves, so I would hope they have vested interest in being against the Archon in that matter.
It is likely they do, but not just for racial reasons. Our military has been getting its ass kicked for the past 50-ish years now. And partially, it is because our government has a weak will to make them any more powerful than they already are. When the War Master comes into power, our state will be a military-focused one.
So far, it does seem that much of this state has been focused on its mercantile and how much money it is able to produce, rather than how much strength it can have. I have supposed, or I have surmised, that's why Pulst and, to a greater extent, Hyperion have offered such offers to you, is because of that lack of military strength.
Well, that will change. And there is, like, a melancholy to him as he looks out the window. Clearly torn in the future that he is presented with. And his silence
I
sort of...
know it.
Oh, I was going to transition us to a more freeform, do whatever the fuck you want. But if there's more things you want to say here, go for it.
Just while we're still in relative privacy, I understand it's a given, but you never know when some slip-ups could happen. We are not to mention this deal Hyperion gave. Ever.
What?
Correct.
Gordon
We
looks
have-
confused. as you immediately do what you said you
Tell
were gonna.
someone.
I trust Gordon.
Grunt says correct, and then seeing Gordon, he just face palms like, it was a matter that was between us, her, and something that is going to be discussed over the coming time that we are here. And that is all.
Okay. You're being weird. What's that little slight jab? You guys are taken back to the home base, just less than a mile, I believe, all the way up. Back to this grand plateau, where you will change out of your official fatigues and go about your business. You are now off the hook. It is the 9th of January, also known as Winter's Waiting. Winter's Warmth, excuse me. So, what would you like to do?
I would like to, in the privacy of my room, get everyone kind of gathered around and try and contact Shade.
I wanted to telepathic bond before. I guess I can do this while you're talking to Shade.
Yeah.
Okay. Shade will not be able to telepathically speak with you. You understand this,
That's
right?
fine.
Yes.
That is fine.
Okay.
That's why I want everyone in our safe spot in my room.
Only
Well.
I could create a boundary of silence that didn't affect the thing inside.
I mean, you could cast it. It doesn't go through walls, right? So you could
I think
cast
it
silence.
does.
Clear.
Silence goes through walls, yes.
Oh, I was gonna say you could cast it like on the outside of a door, and then it blocks like all of the sound that's not in a room or something like that. Oh.
Actually,
Anyway,
yeah, you
I
cast
don't
it
even
4
have
times.
I don't even have the silence spell. I'm not sure if wizards can get it.
Alright, then we're
Yeah.
talking about something that doesn't matter.
Yep.
We are going to contact Shade after our second break here. Since we're at the 2-hour mark.
Cool.
In terms of my clock, anyway.
Yeah.
We'll be right back,
Yeah,
everybody.
we're approaching it.
Ooh.
We are back, everybody, with politics on our mind. Oh, it's like you guys have a new poli team.
Might as well
Oh
be.
no.
Sure.
Well, no.
Did
if
you
we
guys,
turn into the...
before we move on, did you guys hear that the political team, now known as the failure team, is soy diving into a tower of Hephaestus?
Oh, are they?
They
way.
took our
Oh.
thing?
They took
Yeah.
your thing. They are now the
They
disco
took
team.
our
Why don't we...
term.
I would say,
They
why don't
took-
we swap? But I don't want to become the failure team. And I don't want our
True.
good name sullied. And by good name, I mean have even more characters die to wall-touching traps.
Well, don't you worry. They're in for a treat tomorrow. Or, not tomorrow. The next day.
Monday.
Pretty soon.
No,
Uh,
yeah, they're
This
Monday.
Saturday.
Okay. Well, with
Thought
that
Red Day was
news
Saturday.
completely done, they took his
I don't
dog.
care.
You, you all arrive in the home base to call Shade up after telepathically bonding your or your face to each other.
I think Vun
He's-
is gonna
Yeah,
call
he's
Shade.
ritual
I
casting
am...
it while I'm talking. So that way
Okay.
when I'm done, we can go out and already have the bond.
Alrighty. Runt, you call for Shade, and John will roll his magical d20. Because Shade is hard pressed everywhere. Ooh. You won't get a response for around 30 minutes, but you will get Shade to show up.
Cool.
So a ritual goes off, and everyone's standing awkwardly in a room together. When Shade pops into your periphery, it's like, oh, hello, Runt.
Hi Shade, long time no see. I have
Yeah.
some really big news that I needed to share with you. Otherwise I
Oh.
wouldn't contact you.
Let's do it.
We spoke with the War Master, and things seem to be going particularly well. However, there is some matters that the Tyrant needs to be informed of. Specifically, that they are looking into a deal with the Hyperions,
Okay.
which more or less it will only go into effect if we fail. But more importantly, the Emperor is willing to make a deal with Ugarest if Ugarest is somehow able to obtain and return the princesses. Now, I didn't think this was something that we wanted to offer Ugarest, was just Meza and her sister, but it was something that I wanted to let the Tyrant know was a thing that existed for his consideration.
Wow, okay.
And specifically,
Yeah.
the War Master was very blunt about what price she would pay for us for said exchange. She said, in her own words, that an entire alliance was on the line of said deal. So she is quite willing
Wow.
to be hand over fist in our court, as it were we able to do such a deal with them. Again, I know that is a deeply contrived and complex situation with the Tyrant and the Mezzas, so I will not try to give any advice on that, as we have our own things to focus on. But
Well,
as I mentioned, this seems like something that is pressing and also worthy of his attention.
I'll convey the message, but our policy usually is if a person is paying us to overthrow their government, we probably don't really, we'll get what we can, but we're not expecting them to be like in permanent servitude of us as if we are their new government, which they will, through pattern recognition alone, overthrow us. We're not looking to make Ugarest a vassal, if that's what she is offering.
No, I think more of just like, I think closer to if the Union or like I forget the name, the Confederacy, like how people were part of a Confederacy, Ugarest would be closer to joining Tolst in some sort of more permanent alliance ship.
Okay.
That level, rather than being vassals to Tolst, more of our permanent allies, closer to something that we're working with Maelstrom on.
I understand. Be on your guard with her, Runt. When she met the Tyrant in Cantelar, they almost came to blows. She was... We don't know much about her, but she seems like a fucking combat freak.
Runt nods and then realizes she can't really see the nod too well, and is like, I think she and I get along particularly well, but I will heed your advice regardless.
Oh shit, should I tell Irisel? Make her jealous for you, bud?
Shut
Ooh.
the fuck up, Shade.
I'll be seeing you later if that's it.
Laurent looks around. We've got Shade on the line if anyone else has anything. Oh, one last thing, actually. They're offering to give us a new member. We're not sure how permanent or temporary this member is. He is from Ugarest, supposedly, and he found Nav after we lost him due to a recent incident. Go
If
ahead, you.
he... I can't speak for Tyrant at the moment. You guys are rather far away from me, so I can't do like an instant response. But there's nothing wrong with keeping potential enemies and friends close in your circumstance. If you were playing a spy game, be aware who has what intentions for you all when working with them.
Mhm.
Don't forget the Blazing Star. They are here somewhere. It's
Oh,
my
yes,
Raven
the
has
Blazing-
to deal with them.
The Blazing Star is here. They are trying to
Oh.
do a deal with the Hyperions, but we have been given explicit permission from the War Master herself to, in her words, deal with them as brutally as you would like. Obviously, we are going to not be so heavy-handed as we are attempting to do espionage and not murder, but we'll see what happens.
Well, don't be a rude guest and not take them up on their offer if the chance comes up. If this person is... Do you know who they sent?
I don't remember it off the top of my head. I do know it is a convent of the Blazing Star, unmistakably. We will need to look into it more to see exactly who. I will be damned if it was Duplain, though.
It's Kushin the whole time.
If it is of their covenant, as you called them, or their council, if they are not on the continent now, and you can take them out, you will rob the enemy of a potential threat in the future to us.
Understood.
Okay. You just see on your heads-up display a bonus objective pop up.
Murder the Blazing Star! Yay!
Is there anything else?
I believe that is all for now.
Alright.
Thank you.
You're very welcome, Runt. It's been a while, but take care.
Been a while
Yeah.
since
Been a
I've
while.
been
Uh,
his friend.
Who are we flashbacking, Orion?
Runt's first murder.
Oh,
Talk about
shit.
murder
His
and all that.
first
So
murder?
Right, who was the first
Was it
man
a
you
child?
killed?
Oh, God.
Was it a
to be a
child while you
child.
were a child?
Oh, technically his first murder actually would be, unironically, be the child.
Oh
Damn.
Because for most of his life, he lived as a vagabond, as a thief, growing up in Maelstrom. But he lived under the tutelage of a discredited academic. So he tried to learn the history of Maelstrom, the history of magic, tried to learn magic at one point, but was incapable of doing so. And he learned to be a thief and to be quick, but he never actually killed anyone until he was brought to Destry and was given a very clear objective by this new boss of his. And with split allegiances between Maelstrom and with Tolst, conflicted and having seen several of his party members murdered horribly by monsters,
They were
bird
killed, not
people,
murdered. Fuck
and
you.
rats, he was faced with a decision, and in the heat of battle, with his first encounter with the Blazing Star, ironically enough, he sees a man ordering child soldiers to shoot to attack him and his allies. And so, in a fit of bloodlusting rage, he runs straight up to what appears to be no older than a 6-year-old girl dagger in hand. And he takes the knife and he plunges it deep into her chest, cold, mercilessly, and yet calculated. As he cuts her down, staring down a young boy no less than 5 feet away from him, he shouts at him, "You're going to be next if you don't run." And that was the first time he murdered anyone.
Wow.
Runt, you can't help but feel a little livid as you think of your past and how far you've come. Now, being a quite literal hired killer for several countries. You've come a long way from being a little thief. 3 countries. You look at Mirth, Yugu, Zane. Telepathically linked. You may head off into the city at your own discretion. It is around 2, like 2 p.m. now.
Okay.
What's the
I
plan?
would like to go and deliver that letter, please.
You sprint, and then you remember she's a fucking vampire. You'll have to wait till night.
Yeah.
Well, Run can actually climb down to the side of the cliff and give it to
Mhm.
her there.
There's
Ron
no
doesn't know where
saying-
that is.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Also,
He
there's no
would-
saying she'll go back to the same hole in the cliff.
Yeah, I want
mean-
I want to take the group as a whole, so we're traveling together, to show me where the tree is, and then show me where Yugu climbed down. And just be like, yeah, no, it's down there, and then I'll come back at night. So I know
You want to spend
where
the
to-
rest of the day doing this? This will basically be your, like, one big outing for the day as a group.
Why
unless
can't we
someone...
just go to the
I-
church?
Yeah,
I want to look for
I'd-
magical items. That's what I want to do. Those two.
I want to go see if we can get into, maybe not contact, but at least find Mr. Laponche.
Okay, then it sounds like we want to go to the church then. Because we may find magical items there with, priest of the old religion.
Okay.
Bada bing,
Church,
bada boom.
cemetery,
Bada bing!
park.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Another day, another play.
Detect
Okay.
Another day,
magic
another
eyes
dollar.
are constantly active as always.
Say that again?
You weren't
What?
blinded.
My detect magic eyes are active as always.
Oh, true. Who doesn't like having special eyes with your special brand?
My
Alright, 1, 2 is the
brand.
church, 3, 4 is the cemetery, 5, 6 the communal park. Unbelievable. Okay. You all head towards the church. Are you guys going on foot? Are you taking that one vehicle that Xander has now brought and is like, hey guys, Kaloo!
I think actually I would like to go up to Xander and being like, hey, bud. Can I call you bud?
I'm not sure. As you say bud viciously, he just innately teleports like 1 foot away from you as if sensing a threat. It's like,
Hey,
whoa,
bud.
no one's ever done that with their words alone before.
Hey, bud, can I call you bud? We need a ride. You think you could do that for us?
I sure can. That's what I'm here for as the new adjutant of the War Master.
Right. We need to go to this place, and he marks on the map, where he takes out his map and points it to the communal park.
The communal park?
Yes, sir.
Why do you want to go there?
We have some people
Oh,
we'd
we were
like to
going to
speak
the
with
church.
there. And also, just appreciating nature and the
town.
rest of Ugarest. Kalukale and all that.
I'm getting different
Oh, we were
vibes
going
from
to
the
the
rest
church.
of your team who are eyeballing you, like you're an idiot or something.
Is he not at the communal park?
Well, I think we should go.
We
from
don't
the
know where
church
he
up
is.
to the park, and then from there at
Yeah.
night.
He's
we can
either
just
at
go
the
to
church,
tree.
the cemetery, or the park.
Okay, I thought those were all in the same zone.
No.
Well, the church
So,
and cemetery are next to each other, and the park is.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
If you look at the map, we already marked it that they point to.
Okay. The map is very confusing to me. There's
It's
a lot of things with
okay.
different colors.
Reading's not for every human in the world either.
I can read. It's just
Ha!
there's so many different buildings and locations, and I have a
I
lot to
know,
keep
it must
track
be
of.
very confusing for a creature such as yourself. Here,
Yeah.
hop on in!
Drive
Wow.
to the cemetery/church area.
As you try to murder him through the window.
Make him teleport out of the car and we crash.
Okay. Man, good old Xander. Kalu Kalay, everybody. Unabashedly a piece of shit. You all can be driven. Xander is a rather proficient driver. And although, you'd expect him to, not be, just because of his attitude and carelessness, because he is a careless driver as well as a good one. It's almost as if something were to bad to happen, such as a car collision, he would not be affected by it. So, what is that like? Because you guys are in the back seat, and he begins to run red lights, and speed through stop signs, and get into a small car pursuit with a local police officer.
It's just kind of like, you do realize we're supposed to be laying low, right?
Maybe you are, but if I start being suspicious, everyone around me will think something's up. This man drives like he is the main character of Grand Theft Auto 5, guys.
Which
Well,
one?
so-
Grand Theft Auto 5.
I've never played Grand Theft Auto
Oh.
4? Where you're...
Well, 5 has 3 people.
No,
but...
Okay, well, fuck me. I'm sorry. I've never even looked at the game.
Okay, we'll say 4 then, because that's the
John.
one you know, sure.
I got caught. Please ignore my
Got him.
boomerness.
Fake gamer, fake gamer.
It's not
I'm a
like
fake gamer. Shit, you're right.
It's not like we would know whether or not he's obeying traffic laws, as
Yeah, I
none of
was
us
about to
know
say,
the traffic laws.
Don't know the traffic
just-
laws.
Yeah.
Well, when the
just told me-
sirens come on, you're like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah,
And Toll's
That's what I
noise.
said. It's like, yeah.
Oh,
It
we have an
wasn't the
escort.
it wasn't how fast he was going or how bumpy the ride was. It was just the fact that there were police sirens close by, and that they're chasing us.
I think
That's
I would
what tipped
assume they
me
saw
off.
me and recognized me in the car. Like, that's the fucking lizard! Get his ass!
They'll never catch us.
Yeah.
You guys will make some hard turns and hard stops. And then he'll literally pull into an alleyway, tell you guys to get out. You'll have 2 seconds to do that before the car's wheels starts moving again, and he just takes off, luring police away from you. Seeming to have realized the first mistake of letting police near you in the first place.
Yeah.
So although you're on foot now, and you're not very... You don't have covert transportation, you are still hidden from, the main authorities' eyes. His
That's
haunting
good.
words being Kalu Kalay. As he speeds away.
He cackles. Kakalukakale. Ha ha ha.
The evil laugh.
Alright,
Yeah.
you are somewhere in this area, this church district. You see this massive blue-tiled, white stoned temple that sits somewhat close to the ocean. Many grave markers and clear grassy fields are surrounding this entire district. What are you guys doing as you watch cars just speed past you?
Runt's gonna turn to Zane and say, so, give me a crash course again on what this old religion thing is. We kind of glanced over it. There were a lot of details that we went over yesterday.
The main thing that I've been able to glean, as there wasn't actually a whole lot, was that it was, once I can find the fucking thing in my notes, the only religion in the prehistory of Ugarest was called the Faith of the Challenger, and the name Hera-Eun
Nice.
kept popping up.
I see.
I would assume this information alone might be enough to get his attention.
I think so.
Shall we go look for a sermon to sit it on? Whatever this religion does.
Yeah, let's just to make sure he's in the church first.
Yeah, let's go
Yes.
look around and try not
Oh.
to cause too much of a scene while we do so.
Yeah, I think. I know I am very well disguised with my new collar, but you guys go ahead and go into the church. I'm going to go find a dumpster and hide in there. Okay?
Sure. We have the psychic
Would
link.
you,
Let us know if
while
anything
we are
happens
here
from
in
out
the
here.
alleyway, would you like to renew your psychic bond?
It'll take 10 minutes. Do you want to sit here?
The question is, do you want to sit here in an alleyway for 10 minutes while you cast a spell?
Well, that is. I'm asking all of you. Yeah. I mean, we are kind of hidden. I could go hide in the dumpster right over there
It's
and
like-
cast the spell.
You have like 10 to 20 minutes of your magical telepathic bond right now going. Like,
Yeah, we
you
still have more
started
than
it,
half.
waited half an hour, and then you got driven here. So,
Maybe
We
after
we don't
we
have that
talk?
much longer left on it. Is the thing.
Well, it takes 10 minutes to do. Right.
You have like 10 minutes left, so
Yeah, go ahead. We have plenty of time.
Mirth's
Run's
making
gonna-
a decision. Nice.
Run's gonna stop Yugu for just a second, and he's gonna check all the corners of the alley and make sure that no one's, like, coming or going before he gives Yugu the A-OK to start.
Yeah, no one's here.
Okay,
Okay.
go ahead.
I'll-
don't accept
Do
that hooded
whatever I need to
figure at
do.
the end of the alleyway.
Do the robot. Pull out a stringed instrument.
It goes off without a hitch. Nobody comes to interrupt or interject. None of the passing cars seem to notice you as you confer amongst yourselves. And after 10 minutes, your magical spell is renewed. If you want to just throw that in chat for posterity.
At you go on the back and say, "Good luck with your trash can."
Yeah, I'll look for some incriminating evidence in here.
Yes, I could all that.
Nice.
Dink.
You... Alright, so you quite literally just stays in this one alleyway.
Yeah. I look for a trash can, or a dumpster is what I'm hoping for. Something big enough I could get inside of it.
Okay. Let's see how lucky you are.
This is gonna be real awkward for the weekly trash man.
There are no dumpsters in this alleyway. There are those, like, crappy aluminum trash cans that, like, a frog vampire could fit inside, but not a, like, full-blown
How
lizard
oddly
man.
specific.
Yeah.
Very odd. Is there any, like, manhole covers? Just, like, is there pile? How dirty is this place? Is there piles of trash?
It is exceptionally clean. This area, specifically, is pristine, almost. As if, like, the streets get cleaned every week.
That's pretty
Like,
good.
with a power washer or something, Yu-Gi-Oh.
I guess I'll. Well, I am a vampire, right? I can't get into water, or I'll be me. So I'll be brewed and hide in one of these little rinky-dink trash cans.
Well, they're not empty. Are you gonna
Aw.
shove, like, all the trash out, or are you gonna get...
Could I find enough trash cans to empty one trash can? Like, I put one bag in that
You're
one.
making
alright,
this a...
cool.
Why don't you just hide behind a trash can, or go
No, I need to be inside of it.
Do Song of
Needs to be
Creation
one
your
with
own
the
trash
trash.
can?
You can make your own trash can, right?
I can,
He's
but
a
then when
trash
someone
man.
touches it, it'll make music.
Well, do you want to smell like garbage for the rest of the day, or do you want to
Make music.
make music if someone happens upon you?
Yeah, sure. I'll make a dumpster because I want it to be a little space. I like my room.
Okay,
my
so you'll
dumpster.
make the one thing that this area does not have.
Yes.
Okay. In this small alleyway, you create a dumpster, which takes like 3/4 of it. And you jump on in, since nothing's in there.
Like a weird L-shaped one.
Yeah. For the rest of you, while Yugu's having this little adventure for the next hour or so, you guys head on towards the front entrance of the church, where outside there's a little paved area that has a tiny little fountain and statue of, I guess it's not a real statue of like a person, but it's like an obelisk almost that has some ancient writing on it. It's like super decorative and cool. There's a little tree that sort of provides shade to this entire area as well, where there's a man on a actual crate, like a wooden crate, talking to a congregation of one person and like 2 birds that he is feeding pigeons to.
So like an actual soapbox.
Yeah, he is quite literally on a soapbox. He seems to be rhyming or doing some sort of performative thing. Which this one guy is just eating up, like sitting on the ground, the pavement, like hands over knees, and just like, yeah, this is sick, this is my jam.
What's he saying, John? I want to listen.
Heed me, steed, hark, you mighty lark. You'll have to get closer.
I'll get closer.
What about the rest of you?
I shall also get
All
closer.
small child.
Follow the small child.
Never
There-
turn me wrong.
Yeah, what's up?
I was thinking of casting a spell, but I have decided against it at the moment.
Okay. Well
Hard
then,
decision.
the first thing that happens is you get a physical description as you get closer and closer and closer to him. And remind me the range of detect magic? It's 60 feet, right?
Detect the magic is 30 feet.
30 feet, cool. You guys start heading that way. You'll probably start or stop right when you can hear him, so further than 30 feet. Probably like 90, if not 100, with how this guy is just fucking shouting to the sky. This man is completely bald, hairless in fact. Eyebrows completely shaven off, no facial hair, no hair anywhere.
Okay, so, like Uncle Fester?
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Anyway, this man, completely bald, hairless, no hairs, is lacking in a lot of physical features. He seems rather mundane. There's no tattoos, no moles, nothing that immediately, like, sets you off like, wow, I can easily identify this guy. Only because he is completely hairless. Rather
Thursday.
unacceptable. He speaks with a weird accent, for sure. You haven't heard this sort of dialect of comment. Maybe he's from Hyperia. Maybe he's from somewhere else that is non-Ugarest. Ugarest people don't really have an accent. They kind of speak modern common, just like you guys do. It's the time for the terrible French accent, as you meet Gazelle de la Pauche. This man, although you don't catch his name from his sermon, is rather verbose and will begin to profitalize about how you must seek out the challenge or you will never be free. We are all slaves. And wow, that actually hurts my throat a lot. Hang on one second.
It hurts to be French, doesn't it?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's because you're using too much of the throat. Use your nose.
I want to
Yeah,
use
you-
the throat, though. That is how I practiced.
That's what
Clip
she
that.
said.
Actually, I'll clip that, actually.
Okay. Oh no, he's French. Gezer calls out to the world all about the speaker of waves and storms. How if you listen closely to that infinite hurricane on the horizon, there's no hurricane on the horizon, guys. You too will be consumed, and you must fight. Fight for your life! And this guy below is just like, yeah, I gotta fight people. He's like, yes, you must go out and face challenging foes, such as the system and economics. And the dude's like, what? It's like, you must also combat actual foes as well, or you will not get stronger. You must stab a fucker. And he's like, yeah, now we're back onto what I like to hear. And this guy will just kind of be a madman for around 10 minutes. It's like, alright, Jeremy, you must go, now. Find a cop and fist fight him. And he's like, you got it, Gazur. And he just stands up and just starts running. The two birds, these, like, pigeons, like these just fucking winged rats, fly off quickly after it, this disturbing motion. He's like, oh, you stupid rats flying in the sky, I will kill you! He rages at them as they fly.
Brent just looks at Zane, and he looks back at Mirth, and he's like, so, who wants to take this one?
I will receive it. I will walk up.
Oh ho ho! No. You are tainted by something, he says. As you walk up the 90 feet. How far away are the rest of you now?
I'm gonna stay 10 feet behind Mirth.
Okay.
Like, clearly in
I'm
sight,
gonna stay
but
at
I'm
least
like,
in that 30-foot range.
I'm letting him, like, clearly be like, he's the guy that he's gonna talk to him.
Cool.
But I'm still,
Zane?
like, present.
As you step within 30 feet of this man, his eyes flare to you, as though he too is seeing the magical aura around yourself. But, oh my god, this dude's emitting really strong magic right now. Of multiple schools. He seems to be heavily enchanted.
Is he a wizard?
The man himself, or like his apparel?
His skin.
Oh. Man's got magic tattoos, y'all.
Is that
He
Ansel's
has no
brother?
tattoos, no.
Oh,
Darn.
damn.
Got magic in his
But do you
bones.
call out that he has magic on him?
Well, he can
Uh,
think.
well,
I'll magically tell us.
We have
Oh,
the
yeah.
telepathy, so I can.
Okay, do it. Everyone is now on point that this man is indeed magical. Yugu, you're like in your
Very
dumpster when you
magical.
catch up on this.
He is heavily magical. Probably around us level of magical.
If not more so.
Yeah.
Gazur looks to you all. It's like, ho ho ho, a lynch mob, eh? Well, and he starts rolling up his sleeves. I will not go down quietly!
Gazur de la Punch.
Oui?
I am Mirth. As I
You must have
pimple
been
my
painful
ears.
when you were birthed. You are so big and your head is so huge.
We're here to talk about the fate of the Challenger
Oh,
and Harada Aoun. Or
Hara Eun, you wish to speak
Harun.
of him, do you?
yes,
Oh. How did you come across this name? It is not spoken in modern texts.
old Tex nerd friend.
Oh, you have the wizard.
Yes, and we went to spin our interest
What?
to talk to you.
You have interest?
Yes. Also to talk to you and start a conversation. But if you want to fight, I could do that too, but maybe later.
Maybe later, indeed. I will never say no to a round of fisticuffs.
Oh.
And I am unable to.
We are a match made in heaven. Come, we must go into not the archive, but the reliquary. There we can find him.
I follow him.
Hell yeah.
I'll follow behind as well.
It will also follow.
Is Mirth unironically the best choice for this?
Who knows?
100%.
I had a feeling as soon as he started talking about like fighting stronger opponents with your bare fists,
It's a match made in heaven. Maybe
I
they'll
might
be
have-
husbands one day.
I might become a cleric, guys.
Storm cleric John, the thing you've
Oh,
always
fuck.
feared.
Oh, they're not Storm, buddy.
Oh, uh-oh.
You will enter this massive church where it's more like a museum than a actual place of worship. Many areas are kind of roped off. There's even like one of those like rent-a-cop security guys who don't have weapons and aren't allowed to carry them. Who just like, oh shit, it's Geezer. And he like radios something in, and like the immediate response that people pick up is just like, just let him fucking through. Geezer waves to Charlie. Oh, Charlie, how is your wife and son? I know where they live. And he's just like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm just working my 9 to 5. He's like, ha ha ha. We are going to the reliquary. You will stand out of the way. Yes? It's like, yes. It's like, good. You are a good man. And he, like, takes a mint from the little desk that is just, like, there to offer to people. It's like, here,
Burke
take a
also
mint.
takes one.
Hell yes.
Burke takes it, Bradley, and
Come here, little boy.
it out.
Have a mint. He hands you a mint runt.
I take the mint and I put it in my pocket.
Good. The wizard can take one for himself. He is much taller than you. Haha. You are short. It is funny.
You
What
see a
just
chuckle
raises an
out
eyebrow,
of
but there's nothing.
Yeah. You will
Then
walk
just
through
takes up fucking mint and puts it in
exhibits,
his
we'll
pocket.
call them, of art that has been made and, like, is hidden behind cases, but he doesn't really care. There's a set of doors that are roped off that say, do not enter, by any means, including you, Geezer, on this very long sign. And Geezer immediately ignores it. He does not respect any written rules. Opens the door and allows all 3 of you inside. He's like, welcome to the reliquary. It is my sanctuary. It is quite peaceful here, wouldn't you say? As you turn around to look at all of the art of violent storms, the ships going over in surfs, of bas reliefs, of sea titans warring with each other, lightning storms, maelstroms. It is like a collection of just, I don't want to say like sea time horror, but since you guys are mostly landlubbers, except for Runt. Runt respects the sea, if for no other reason he's bound to a storm elemental now.
I mean, Zane's hometown was seaside.
Yeah, but
But
Ow.
isn't Mirth originally from the Forge of Alvin, which is on like
most
well?
cities are
Yeah.
on the coast for sure.
okay.
But that doesn't mean you respect the coast or like the ocean.
Fair.
Most ships stick to the coastline of the continent. No one's really going into deep water. And in all of these pictures, there is no land. This is a departure from the norm of, like, we are terrestrial beings that walk on the earth. The, dirt. And even here on this island, like, nobody wants to be in the ocean forever. The ocean is dangerous. It will kill you. You are not meant to go there. And all these portraits, paintings, sculptures, all kind of reflect that, of like, fear of this place. And Kazir strongly walks in, as if he belongs here in this most dangerous depiction of an environment. It brings warmth to my heart, seeing such beasts, such dangers, such foes. Do you like the sea, Mr. ...
Earth.
Mr. Mirth,
And-
I'm so sorry. You introduced yourself earlier, but I am excitable.
Yes, the aspects of sea monsters and the ways to fight them does excite me.
Good. I am glad you have such vim and vigor in your soul. I, too, once fell into the ocean and fought my way out. Oh, Imagine a sea of eels that wish to wrap and constrain you, and then bite your innards out, turning your blood into this white flesh. It was delicious, they thought to themselves, but they did not realize that I, a man, bite back.
Yes. The hands are the most dangerous.
Oh, and the teeth?
Every part of your body could be a
Yes,
weapon.
it is true. The serpents know not what they do, for they lack hands. He points to a sea serpent fighting some tentacled monster over a storm. There's like a boat in the background of this massive portrait. Ah, this one is one of my favorites. I don't know why, but the tornado above, this whirling hurricane, it is a beauty. I wish to fight the weather one day and come victorious.
Being able to punch and spread the sea and the air,
Yes.
the clouds. I can see myself doing that one day.
Indeed. I can as well. We should try to fight each other to see who will actually do it, though. That is the tenets of the Challenger. Never step back from an encounter. Seek what wishes to hurt you and defeat it. Hera Eun, you have heard his name, but you know not his life. His magnificent existence was an inspiration to so many people all over the world. It is a shame. The place where he has died does not even know who he be.
That's where you come in. Spread his gospel.
Exactly. They've forgotten the ways.
Obviously,
stares at you,
someone
Murph.
such as you would advocate for fighting, for challenging oneself to go further beyond
For
what they already
certainly.
think.
How could I not? It is my entire motivation to exist.
You know the War Master.
I know of the War Master, the big beastie that she is. She is a predator.
Aren't we all?
Yes, but also no. To predate on those weaker than you is blasphemy. You waste your time, your energy, you could be better off suited. No, never mind. It is just a distraction. You must seek the strong, not bully the weak.
But the weak might grow strong one day.
You cannot cull. You must let them challenge you, not put them down prematurely. There's fun in fighting, fun in the challenge, and how dare you rob someone of pursuit?
Of course. Everyone should have such challenge. Able to take the steps toward the fight.
Oh, I concur, my good man. But you did not come here to... Well, maybe you did come here. Are you wishing to convert from whatever terribleness haunts your body and mind?
Well, it seems like I already carry the tenets with me of your church. To fight something above myself, to fight. But that wasn't our initial goal when we came here. No. It was to find more about you and more what we could do for you.
A fanboy, you might call yourself.
And some ways, maybe.
He gasps, as if he wasn't expecting such an honest reply. You, Mirth, the man, the myth, the legend, who never looks down. Is this deception?
Actually, no. Uh, he's more like finally someone who understands me in
Sparks
some way or
fly a little
another.
bit. You all, Runt and Zane, you can't help but sense the actual magic between these two.
The chemistry, it's real.
The pain they feel.
I don't think I can singularly telepathy out to Yugu, since I think we're all in the same bond. We all hear it.
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm
Okay.
still
But
updating
they were
Yugu on what's happening.
roommates.
Bro, I think they're in
They
love,
were
Yugu.
roommates.
They're sitting 6 feet
okay.
apart.
I also
Mirth?
heard.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
No, continue, please.
I also heard that some of this country, as I am not from this country, you might tell from my.
Oh, neither am I.
But this has potential. A lot of magic is in the air, and things are changing.
It sure is. A new age is coming. The threads. Do you know of the threads? I know not how informed you all are. I feel like I am at the disadvantage of knowing your ignorance.
Well, I know of the gods. Of some gods.
Ah, they are weak.
Not
Cowards.
exactly. And my goal is eventually to terminate these cowards. These people. But in my path to do so, I came upon this group, and who have the same goals in mind. And apparently, there are some in this country that are part of these cowards.
Oh. What?
These blazing star fellow.
Oh. The blazing star? A light bulb in the sky? So far away, and it's... It just gives out this weird hiss of noise. I understand.
And that's one of the objectives we're here for, is to make sure this coward doesn't spread his gospel, as he is assuming himself important.
We must kill him.
Obviously.
Snap his neck, we must. I will call Jeremy back to find him. He just shouts, Jeremy! into the sky.
But also, I also heard that some people are being suppressed in this country.
Oh?
They behold humans, like myself.
Good. They will have something to fight against. Gives them motivation.
Fighting the country, as a demi-human myself, do you be willing to share that fight with me?
It depends.
A rule of the country?
I do every day. They just won't come out and play. You will find that a country is much more harder to fight than an individual. To challenge the Archon to a fistfight is something any man can do in this country. They cannot limit your speech, but they will not come out. I would give nothing... Well, I would give a lot, actually. I'd probably give up this entire reliquary to have a chance to punch the Archon in the cock. But unfortunately, he hides and cowers behind a tower. As though I must keep to my tenets. I cannot just break the neck of every guard I come across. It would be rude. And being a polite challenger is very important.
Then I have a great news to you.
You
I have a
will.
way to take him out of his tower.
How?
Uh,
It's
I look to Runt. He is the strategist to take the hornet out of its nest.
Runt. Is that your name?
He nods.
I am not. I did not metagame that, correct? Did Mert did introduce you?
He did just say front, yeah.
Oh, I see. Your name is weak. We must get you a new name.
He shrugs.
I shall call you Strategos. Mr. Strategos. You can do this? You speak truth, not a lie?
Our ultimate goal is to get the Archon out of his blasted tower, yes.
Ooh.
Hopefully,
You
permanently.
speak of future, but not of present.
Oh, it is going to be in the very near future.
Well, if you can do what you say, and if this is the case, you will have my undivided attention. For I must double suplex this man into the sea at post haste. He is coward, he has refused challenge, and he thinks he's got a shot of beating me. He just pulls out a newspaper, which he just throws at one of you. Anyone can catch it. Who wants to catch it?
I'll catch it.
Runt catches it quickly, sees a headline, Archon refuses bout with local madman. Is the headline. I come to this country, I swam here to challenge leadership, the strongest man, and he refuses. He calls me mad, says of course I could fight him in the street, but what would that solve? He needs help. I don't need help, he needs help. That's why he hides. Hides behind stone and wood and brick and sea and magic. Coward.
So this entire time, Run has been trying to take in La Ponche, and he's trying to feel that, like when he first got here, he tried to feel for the elemental power. He's trying to see, like, what connection to storm magic he has, if any.
Give me a nature or religion check.
Okay. Wow, they're both the same. Lamau.
Okay.
So let's do religion. 8. Ugh.
You're directly connected to an elemental of the storm. That alone should let you key in on anyone else attached to such a clear and obvious element. Storm elementals aren't modernly thought of as real. I mean, what is a lightning bolt, right? It's like a flicker of ions that immediately vanishes. To be a consistent storm elemental, you would constantly be destroying things. So, lightning is kind of considered a universal thing to, like, all magics everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But Maelstrom is the one exception. It is a permanent storm. It's constantly going. It's always thundering, always lightning. And that representation of being a storm, of always moving, always destroying, always acting, is not universal. And although this man's not radiating anything lightning-oriented, the internal, I guess, behavior is semi-close to it, I guess?
He's got a wrath like a storm, although he himself may not be tied to something storm-like, an entity.
Yeah. You're unsure if it's like a moniker, and it's like, okay, it's kind of similar, but totally not the same. But also, Zane just said he was like super magical. It's weird.
Yeah.
He's a weird guy.
Clearly, my whole thing was just trying to see if he was connected to an elemental, because there would be no elemental in Ugarest, so if he was tied to something, like, it would have to be around here in the water somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, that was what I was looking for. But it would seem not.
Now, I have a sort of similar question to see if I can pinpoint his magicalness. Because, like, I'm not sure if Zane is familiar with, like, gaining magic from faith.
Nah. Even clerics in this day and age, they don't gain power from having intrinsic faith.
But, it, you know, this place is weird. Maybe there's something different. If he could even attempt to, like, pinpoint that.
I don't know what you're asking, exactly.
Like, are
Could,
you asking if he
could he,
draws power from, like, a sacred place?
yeah, like that, or, like, faith. Like, using my detect magic eyes, can I, like...
No. He is
Okay.
magical. Detect magic is a first level spell. You cannot
You
see
have
into a man's
detected,
soul with...
you have detected that he is in fact magical, and that is the
He's
extent that we will learn.
he's super
I just wanted
magical.
to see if I could, like, maybe spot, like, a tether coming from him, like a magic tether or something,
No.
but never mind.
Well, provide me this fist fight, and you shall have me at your disposal. I may seem like a madman, but power comes in mysterious ways, and often unexpected.
You have an understanding then. As I hand out my hand.
He will take your hand, and immediately you both need to make strength checks right now.
Yeah.
To see.
Oh, 100%.
You son of
Or
a
some-
bitch.
Oh my god, this is an unironic natural 20. Holy shit!
Oh,
Natural
they
20.
fumbled that
Oh my
20!
god! Hang on.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
What the fuck? Hang on, I'm gonna lift
Flip
this super
this.
carefully.
wavelength.
Alright. I'm turning it. I'm turning it. I'm turning it. 20. Oh shit.
Whoa,
We're on the same wavelength.
Mirth, you found your... someone you never knew could exist in this
My
world.
brother.
A potential equal. And as you both death grip each other's hands, we will fade out on that shot as you all have secured your first mogul.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
You've now evened the count. It is currently 2-2. Let us hope that the others aren't nearly as effective at securing crazy people to join them.
We're at 2-2 with
I mean, we've
Bogar and Red Moon potentially in the wings.
True. Alrighty. Next time we meet, we will have Runt deliver a letter. Maybe
Save now.
talk to Alan Bogan. And then see our new friends.
is that like an actual player or is that an NPC?
It's an actual player.
That's what I thought.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I have found you all a sixth. He couldn't make it today, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Because he was
I think-
working, and it was like 3 days before we had set it up. So,
Yeah. Who is he?
his name is Charlie from my Friday group that has unfortunately had to disband due to me doing a real life gig. For
He's from
D&D.
the caveman group?
He is
Yeah.
a Unga Bunga boy, indeed.
Nice.
Um,
Nice.
Yeah, Millman knows him, if you're familiar with Millman. And he will be on Greg Hansen's sooner or later. For
Oh,
the
Millman?
Land Beyond the Mist, the second age, or year 2, or...
Rumble roar. Tide the lead.
Tied the lead. Lost the tide, the lost the gain, the
Lost
Todd the lead.
Gain the lead.
Okay.
game over.
Regicide. Game over.
Rift
That
Ball.
game over was pretty good.
Kilimanjaro. Alright. We will be seeing you guys Saturday with the Failure Team as they go through a Tower of Hephaestus. And then hopefully the Monday team will get their shit together so we can actually play a game.
I know.
Oh, that was so tragic.
I know. Oh well. Guys,
The
have a wonderful
Monday
evening,
team have
afternoon,
exist.
morning. I'm gonna go get a lasagna and not die.
Lasagna.
See you later. Woo!
Well, Varga.
Tide the lead.
Tide the lead. Lost the tide, the lost the gain,
Lost
the
the
Todd the
lead.
lead.
Gain the lead.